How have you been? Thank you for joining me today. I have a special guest as part of my celebration of Father's Day. As usual, you'll see his bio right after this, and I'm sure you'll want to keep watching. See you in the Quip Corner. Welcome to the Quip Corner, Dr. Sam.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a joy to be here.
It's truly a joy to have you in the Quip Corner with us. And some people will be like, Ada has another guest in the Quip Corner. Who is this gentleman? Please tell us who you are.
My name is Dr. Samuel Ekundayo. People refer to me as the purpose preacher because the mandate of God on my life is to help people discover their purpose so that they can maximize their potentials. This is literally what I do every single day, adding value to lives, helping them find God's purpose for their lives so that they can maximize their potentials. I do this as a life coach. I do it as a speaker. I do it as an author. I do it in various expressions of me. But on the side, I'm also a senior lecturer at a higher institution here in New Zealand. So I'm based in New Zealand with my wife and 2 kids. People say I'm a ball of energy. So I hope that before this session is over, that ball of energy, you get to experience a little bit of it. So thank you once again for having me. It's a joy and a privilege.
Yeah, you're really welcome. And, as you were talking about the different things you do, I just realized, oh my, this man is not busy at all. So definitely ball of energy is a good description for you. So one of the reasons why, I have the pleasure of having you in the Quip Corner is because you have a book that says something about crisis.
Yes. Purpose in crisis. Purpose in crisis.
Ooh. Well, I'm sure everybody will be like, crisis. We're not a stranger to crisis. But purpose in crisis? What is that book about? Please tell us.
Amazing. This book was written at the heart of the pandemic, this current pandemic that we are in 2020 when it all started. On my way to the UK, I remember God said to me, I want you to unlearn and relearn everything you know about leadership. I was wondering, what does that mean? Anyway, in obedience to God, I picked up a few leadership books, and I was on my way to the John Maxwell Leadership Conference in the UK at that time. So, best place to buy leadership books, right? So I bought a few leadership books, picked up a few more, and then I started to read. I started to unlearn all I knew about leadership and just intentionally learn new things. And then I came back from the UK. And I heard God clearly state to me, as soon as the pandemic started, he said, this crisis is a call to leadership. Yeah. And he asked me to go and read the book of Esther. And I kept on reading from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then I got to chapter 4. And then I got to verse 14 of chapter 4, and God said, yes, that's it. That's what I'm trying to show you. And what's in verse 14 of chapter 4? It said quite clearly, it said, Mordecai wrote a letter to Esther in the time of crisis, and told Esther and said, if you keep quiet at this time, salvation will come for the Jews from another place.
That's right.
But you and your family will also perish. And he ended that letter by saying, who knows if you were made queen for such a time as this? I was like, what? And God said to me, the time of crisis is a time for the leader in you to arise. It's not a time to be silent. It's not a time to keep short. It's a time for your voice to be heard. It's a time to be a beacon of hope, a beacon of light, a beacon of faith for many other people all over the world to rise up to the call and help other people find the leader in them, even at this difficult time. That single encounter with God alone in my room changed my life and birthed this book. Because I soon realized that to discover your purpose, one of the best ways to discover your purpose is during a crisis. Because you see this longing, this desire to do something about the crisis in a very unique way. Yes. And I call that the leader in you. Yeah. And that's why I wrote this book. That's majorly the central tenet of this book. For everyone to see crisis as a call to leadership. And I'm not just talking about the global pandemic. I'm talking about even the crisis in your life. Yeah. Right, the childlessness, the joblessness, the child that is exuberant and all over the place, whatever crisis might mean, the financial crisis, whatever crisis might mean to you, it's actually a call for something to rise up within you. It's a call for your purpose to shine forth. It's a call, it's a call for your purpose to come to light. And that's why I wrote this book.
That is quite a lot. And, when you talk about crisis, you know how they say, never waste a crisis, or the perfect storm, that's spot on. Spot on.
Thank you.
A crisis is not the time to crumble. It's a time to rise.
To rise. And lead.
Yes. Some of our viewers would be like, all that in that book? I wonder if he's going to read part of it to us. So would you please do us the honor of reading a part of your book to us?
Yes, I'm gonna read just a part of it, and I'm reading from page 45 of the book, where I talked about the historical examples of people who found their purpose and rose up during the time of crisis. I'm going to read just about 2 or 3 paragraphs. It says, the history of the world is full of the accounts of men and women who answered the call to lead in a crisis. They offered their voice, and even though they are long dead and gone, they cannot be forgotten because of their roles in difficult times. Like their biblical counterparts, they were human like you and me, but they were extraordinary and supernatural in the face of crisis. They could glaringly see it was not about them, but God expressing himself through them for them to achieve the feats we read about in the history books. I'm reminded of William Arthur Ward's words, adversity causes some men to break, others to break records. These men and women broke records because they looked adversity in the face and saw the opportunity to overcome. They saw the opportunity to lead, and lead they did. And of course, I shared a few of the examples, but we shouldn't get started, because if we do, some people want us to continue over and over.
Well, and they won't buy the book. They'll be like, oh, I'll just watch the video and learn about the book. We don't want that. We want people buying your book.
Yes.
Well, thanks for reading that. And well, since I already went ahead of myself, how can people get copies of your book?
Oh, thank you very much, Ma. A concerted place where you find many of the links to the book would be on my website, samuelekundayo.com/purpose in crisis. samuelekundayo.com/purpose in crisis. When you get there, you see a link to Roving Heights in Nigeria, which is our major exclusive bookshop in Nigeria, Roving Heights. Or you can get it from our publisher as well, Royal Diadem Publishing House in Lagos as well. But Roving Heights are exclusive bookstore, and they're selling it and they will ship it to you anywhere you are in Nigeria. However, if you're overseas, you can either get it from Ingram's Park, you can get it from Amazon, and over 40,000 stores worldwide. No matter the country you live in, there is a likelihood one of those 40,000 stores will be near you. So a mere Google search, Purpose in Crisis, Samuel Ekundayo, would land you on a page where you could actually get one very, very much near you.
Thank you. That's great to know. So we will put the information, your website, and of course, Amazon, and, places people can get copies of your book in the description part below this video. As you know, this is part of our Father's Day celebration. You are a father. You have written this book of purpose in crisis. What message do you have for fathers, for men, for your readers?
Thank you, Ma. In the last chapter of this book, I wrote about the 6 places to look to discover purpose. And I intentionally have that. I've had that framework for a long time, but I hadn't put it into a book. I've just been using it to coach people, helping other people discover their purpose. And then God said I should add it to this particular book, which I did. My message to fathers is this. The original meaning of the word father in the Bible translates as source, sustainer, nourisher. And that meaning is very significant. In fact, foundation. It's very significant because it means whatever the next generation will become, they will take their source from their fathers. They will take their nourishment from their fathers. Their foundation will be their fathers. That means if the fathers don't get it right, we are going to most likely rob the next generation of getting it right as well. In other words, if our fathers and we fathers do not discover our purpose and live for something more significant than our paycheck, we may rob the next generation of living significant and meaningful lives as well. The meaning of that is every father must find their purpose. I love the words of the Bible in Hosea. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And then it didn't stop there. It says, because you have rejected knowledge, I've also rejected your children. The meaning is, if fathers lack anything, there's a likelihood they will pass it on to the next generation. Dear father, watching this right now, or listening to this, it is your responsibility to pass on the baton of purpose to the next generation. Do all you can to find God's purpose for your life. And if that means getting this book, please get it. Know how to discover God's purpose for your life so that you can truly tell the next generation about the importance of living a life of meaning, of significance, of impact, and of influence beyond their own lifetime. The worst way to live is to be alive and not know why. And the worst way to die is to die and not live for the very same reason. And that's why, as a father, the best gift you can give to your children is the gift of knowing God and knowing why they are here. And this is your call. This is the sign you've been waiting for, to be that father that will live on in the lives of their children and the next generation for years to come, even long after you're dead and gone. This is my message to the fathers.
Wow. I must confess that I actually heard some messages for myself too.
Praise God.
Thank you.
Praise God.
Thank you.
Praise God.
Indeed. The piece about and being the source. You know, there's so many words we just throw around. And if only we knew what the weight of that words is, you know, the meaning, and live up to it, the world will definitely be a better place.
Totally.
I could go on and on, but I'd like to really thank you for being my guest in the Quip Corner. And like they say sometimes, in the presence of many witnesses, would you grace us with your presence in the Quip Corner again?
Absolutely. With all joy. With all joy, I will.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Ma.
And I wish you a happy Father's Day.
Thank you. And I wish you, as well as your family, a happy celebration of the Father's Day too.
Thank you. What did you think about that? Yes, you noticed that there was quite a flow and we could have continued for much longer. I thoroughly enjoyed having Dr. Sam Ekundayo in the Quip Corner with me. Purpose in crisis. Crying about a crisis won't make it go away any sooner. So you might as well, like he shared and we discussed, find a way to rise in that crisis, not crumble. That's definitely a book on my reading list and one that I recommend to you. Do your part to discover your purpose and maximize your potential. Bye now.